Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Hawley. I'm a lawyer and certified life coach and the best-selling author of Career Defense 101, How to Stop Sexual Harassment Without Quitting Your Job, and The Inclusive Leader's Guide to Healthy Workplace Culture. I help companies and employees stop toxic work environments so that they can create a healthy culture in their workplace. And so today I want to talk to you about what to do when your employee is just unhappy no matter what. And this kind of, it's actually the same tool I use with employees when their boss is just unhappy no matter what. Like it's sort of the basic tool for what to do when you're just working with somebody who's super unhappy no matter what you do for them. And so what I a lot of times see, and this is a little bit of a confession for myself, like I actually do this too, is a lot of times what we want to do is we feel so overwhelmed and so almost guilty sometimes that somebody is unhappy in their work environment that we like fail ahead of time. We quit ahead of time. We fire them ahead of time. We say, I'm going to fire this employee because they're so unhappy and I'm doing it for their sake because they can't be happy in this position and the only solution is to fire them. Most employees do not like to be fired, and so they are probably going to get even more unhappy at being fired. And I understand why it's our solution. So the way that I do this is I'll sort of like quit ahead of time. And I see employees do this too. If I have a client who's unhappy or a potential client who is on the fence about working with me, I'll just say, no, never mind. I'm not going to work with them. They're too confused. They can't do it. And so I'll like say no ahead of time. And a lot of times we're doing this out of a feeling of being overwhelmed at the idea of someone being unhappy around us, at the other people's, our perception of somebody else's feelings. We're feeling super overwhelmed. And then we're feeling resigned that they're never going to change. This person can't change. They're always going to be unhappy. And so we just need to get them out of our space. And really what this is doing is it's saying, I can't hold space for this person to have their genuine experience. And I'm not going to tolerate their genuine experience and their genuine emotions. And so I am going to remove them from my life ahead of time to make me feel better. Sometimes we want to do this, right? But in the workplace context, what I think that you want to look at is the actual results that the employee is getting in their job, not the feelings that they're having in their job. So the results that they're getting is like their work product. Are they getting their work product out according to the direction that they have for their work product? And that's how you want to evaluate their job performance, not based on their feelings. Like it's kind of none of your business how someone's feeling in the workplace. And if you can standardize behavior, right? Expect somebody to be respectful, expect them to be kind to their coworkers. If they're following those directions of be respectful, be kind, any of that, and they're getting their work product done, and then you're deciding ahead of time, because this person is so unhappy, I'm going to do the favor of firing them, or I'm going to do myself the favor of quitting even. You're really just giving into overwhelm and resignation and creating the most negative result that you could possibly get. So how do you shift this? How do you do like something different? And so what I like to say is look at your instruction manual for the employee that you're working with, right? Look at, and what I mean by the instruction manual is both look at the instruction manual that they actually have for the results they're supposed to get in their job, and look at your own personal instruction manual for how they're supposed to show up so that you can feel good, right? So most of us hate it when somebody else, a lot of us had moms who were like, I just need you to feel good all the time so that I can feel good. I can't feel good until you're happy all the time. And what it does is it kind of it feels terrible to us, right? If somebody is like, you need to be happy all the time, you're never allowed to have negative emotions, or I'm going to feel terrible. You kind of inspired this, Angela, but also it's something, honestly, I have to say, I had Tamara coach me yesterday, and it was about me. Everything that's been coming up that other people have been saying to me have been also something that's coming up with me. So I am totally calling myself out on this, but it's for real. Like, you and I did talk about this. So we're saying my employee needs to be happy all the time so that I can then be happy, right? Or for employees, we say my boss needs to be happy all the time, and then I can be happy and show up in my job and focus on my work, right? And it doesn't work because people have feelings, and having negative feelings is just normal. And sometimes even having really extreme negative feelings can be a normal part of growth and processing, and even processing trauma that's unrelated to work that we want to support people around. So a lot of times we think, I want to support my employees, I want to support my boss, but not if they're having super negative feelings, right? Like they need to have just normal negative feelings, and it needs to look normal, right? So so what we do then is we say, okay, I'm gonna fire this person ahead of time for their own good, which doesn't make sense, right? Because they don't actually want to get fired. Or we quit ahead of time, right? We're like, my boss is gonna fire me because she's so unhappy all the time. He's so unhappy all the time. And so I'm just going to quit ahead of time. It doesn't ever let us resolve the actual problem that is underlying what is going on. And the actual problem is always our story about what reality should be that is not consistent with what reality is. So we put ourselves in a struggle place where we're like, for everyone's own good, reality should be positive 100% of the time, or just the negative should be like pretty negatives, right? It should be the kind of negative that that just, you know, is normal, or whatever it looks like. Like, we have this like small range of what negative experiences are supposed to be like. Anything beyond that is unacceptable. And so we just get into this struggle with reality and what reality should be, instead of accepting how reality is and making an impact on it and saying, how am I going to encounter this situation in a new way to create the result that I want, or to support this person, or to help this person make a shift, to contribute whatever I'm meant to contribute to the situation. And the example I always give is like with politics. We can always say, you know, I don't want the person who is in office in politics to be in office right now. I don't want Donald Trump to be president, for example. Donald Trump shouldn't be president. Donald Trump shouldn't be president. And then we just struggle with this idea that it shouldn't be reality, which actually doesn't let us make an impact on the reality. So if I sit around all day long and think cancer shouldn't exist, babies should never die, Donald Trump shouldn't be president, or whoever it is to you, it doesn't have to be Donald Trump, I should have had different parents, we're just struggling because reality stays the same. If we want our boss to be happier, if we want our employee to be happier, one of the first steps we can make is be like, hey, how can I support you? It seems like you're feeling a little stressed out. What can I do to help? You know, like, ask them, engage them, what's going on with them. And we may even be misinterpreting their feelings. We don't know until they tell us how they're actually feeling. But if we can engage with it and acknowledge that it's exactly how it's supposed to be, we can really make a difference. So I just wanted to call myself out about my own overwhelm, my own like shutting people down ahead of time, and deciding ahead of time to leave situations that I don't need to leave, when I can really make a difference with them and offer love to them. And so I hope that that helps you guys. I am just about ready to start my book launch team for the Inclusive Leaders Guide to Healthy Workplace Culture. So if you want to be part of the book launch team, it's going to tell you how I work with companies on workplace cultural health facilitation and getting your company culture really great. So if you want to be part of it, just let me know, and love to all of you. And thanks for listening.